freeze drying for technology. Like I saw that it is retains 95% of the nutrition. Is it true?
I think you should be able to guess it.
Is this a technology a new one or just new to India?
India, it has started to pick up because people have started becoming conscious about their health. People wanted to have healthy food. Can it be convenient or not? So convenient can also be healthy. Healthy can also be convenient.
Wow, that's awesome. So I see that it is going to change the world the way it is eating right now.
That's why we say we are in the food tech industry. One of the biggest junk food which we eat for corporate people or people who are traveling is between you all are educated people, you know what it is.
That sounds crazy. So I was speaking to one of the female founder, and what we discussed and we realized that one reason why female in India cannot work a lot because welcome to another episode of D2C Stories podcast, the future of D2C, told through stories and powered by experts. I'm your host, Vineet Agarwala, a techie turned entrepreneur and founder of Bluer Software. Through this podcast, I sit down with some of the brightest minds in D2C world to uncover their real journeys and turn those stories into valuable lessons for anyone building in this space. Let's dive into today's story. Today, I'm excited to host Subramaniam, the founder and director of Freeze Frozen Foods, a brand that is solving one of modern life's biggest challenge: how to get healthy food, home-style meals without compromising on convenience. Subramaniam comes with 25 years of experiences in advertising and marketing, having working with multiple MNCs, managing campaign worth more than 300 million. Now, he's bringing his experience into food industry, building a purpose-driven D2C brand that is changing the way India eat, travel, and snack. Hello, Subbu. Welcome to D2C Stories.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you so much for having me here. A very good afternoon to you. I think it's been wonderful. I have been seeing some of your D2C stories and all. I think I'm really excited what job you guys are doing of getting insights to people who can learn is absolutely brilliant. Keep the good work going here.
Thanks, Subbu. So the objective of this entire thing is only to create lessons for anyone who is aspiring to create something. So we can both share, you can share your knowledge and people can learn from that.
Sure. Happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you. So before we start, Subbu, can you tell us your early life, where you are from, a little about how your college life was, and before you joined all the big corporates, how was your life look like?
See, during my era, I think the college life was completely different than what it is currently. I think so.
Right.
When you transit from school to college, it was more like college, but the only thing is you are allowed to bunk classes, which was like a very great excitement thing at that point of time. Other than that, it almost felt like school and we were in the classes doing your studies and all those things. At that point of time, like any other youth, you not very clear in terms of what you want to do. So all your friends went and started doing CA. So we also went and joined CA. Then later on, I did my management, I did my advertising, and that got into different genre. But the whole journey started when I joined advertising. I think that's when it was very exciting for me. It was almost more than 2 decades I've spent in advertising and digital marketing. I worked across different categories of brands, of which primarily it was FMCG. I serviced Unilever, Dabur, P&G, Marico. I also worked on the banking side, ICICI, Standard Chartered. So it was a combination of BFSI and FMCG. And being on the planning side, being on the client servicing side, you get to work with different categories. So there is a lot of insights which come, the banking works differently. Within FMCG, two FMCGs are functioning very differently. That's how the whole journey started for me, in advertising and digital marketing. At that point of time, one of the things which I noticed is there are a lot of women who spend a lot of time in kitchen, I would say, so that's when they spend hours and how do we try and create something which is simpler for them and faster for them was one thought which was there. But there was no idea of starting your own thing and all. The journey went on and I happened to, in one of a meeting, taste the freeze dried fruits. That's what an instant love, I think. So when I tasted the fruit, it felt like something very different. So they said, no preservative. That's something which rang a bell. How is it possible to freeze a fruit and have no preservative? Then when I understood the technology, went to the market and then figured out what is happening. That's how the freeze fusion food was born. It was more out of real problem that needs to be solved and out of any business model at that point in time, to be very honest.
So that's lovely. So you are mostly like born and brought up, and most of your work was in Bombay only, or you have been traveling multiple cities in India and abroad?
The base was in Bombay, but I traveled across the country.
Okay,
Like
okay,
what they say, typically, if you're working for one of the largest FMCGs, like you are an ex facto brand manager for them. So you're part of all the research team, you're part of all the shoots, you're part of consumer research, market visits, retailers, wholesalers, stockists. You're sent everywhere. You need to understand, talk to them. You're in the market. You're not only just giving some ideas or anything. You need to first understand the consumer. You need to understand the market. That's what the basis was And post that, when you come out with ideas, the ideas are something which the audience can connect. So yes, being in Bombay, I traveled across multiple cities, smaller towns also, and visiting market, talking to people was part of the overall job profile.
So 25 years into marketing and advertising. So what all lessons from marketing and advertising that are being handy to you when you have started off your own?
One of the important thing is you understood the FMCG genre. Even if you say understood, I think you've been there and done that. So you were part and parcel of the overall journey. So you know how a product has to be sold. What does the retailer say? What does the stockist say? How does the consumer behaves, and what is this that he requires? In a food category, one of the most important thing is the taste part of it. So taste is the critical thing. So the
Right.
biggest learning was how do you try and get a product which the consumer likes? Even today, if you see, if you go to any veg restaurant, there are hundreds and 200s of veg restaurants across any city, I would say. Everyone is serving a dosa and idli, but there are certain particular dosas where people are queuing up in the early in the morning at 4:35 in Bangalore. You all know that. Why is it happening? It's all because of the taste. So that's the biggest learning which I said, if you have to be in the food industry, you have to give real, honest food. Business comes in later. If you give them a food which is of zero preservative, there's no added color, and something which is unique taste, which is of your own recipe, which is of the current product of ours, our own recipe. If you have that, then the consumer is definitely going to accept that.
Yeah. So one last thing I would like to know, like 25 years into corporate. So it's like quarter of your life. So what sparked that pushed into an entrepreneur journey and why food?
Typically, if you're in advertising and digital marketing, the gradual transition is to get into consultancy or start your own agency or a digital thing. That is something which I was very clear I didn't want to. So till the time I spent in digital, I noticed is there is a lot of time which has been spent in kitchen, like I was saying. So I always thought that could there be a solution to it? That's when I happened to get in touch with the freeze dried product. So I tasted the fruit and then I said this could be a very good solution because there are very few ready to eat food in the market which doesn't have preservative or doesn't have, and there's no much innovation which has happened in packed food. So that's when I thought this technology is amazing. What it does is just removes water from the product, and the taste, color, flavor, everything is retained and absolutely zero preservative. And it comes in a powder format, and you just need to add water and comes back to its original format. And shelf life is 12 months. What more can you ask for? So that's how the whole journey
Yeah.
started for me.
Yeah. So again, as you said, this is a very important problem. So I was speaking to one of the female founder last week only, and we were discussing when we are traveling abroad, we see a lot of female workers working a lot, like full-time working, and they're even more than male workers. And what we discussed and we realized ki one reason why female in India cannot work a lot because Ghar ka khana. Like there's a very big thing is everyone wanted to have Ghar ka khana, and they feel like ki bahar ka khana is devil
Correct.
or frozen khana to is like untouchable. That is a belief common people have. It is unhealthy. It is like you cannot eat it regular basis. So when you come to this, so how you are going to change this notion so that customer feel no guilt while enjoying your products? How will you do that?
What you said is very right, actually. So people think that freeze dried product or any packed food has got to have preservative. Even I had that perception till the time I got in touch and I understood this technology of freeze drying. The biggest education which I have to do it with the consumers or with any audience is I need to make them familiar with the category. People think this is like frozen. That's a common perception because that name says freeze fusion food. It is not frozen, it is freeze dried. Frozen is one part of the step, and after that, what it does is through vacuum, it removes the water and it gets it into a powder format. So that's a big education. And when you're launching a new product like this, there is dual task which the brand has got. You need to introduce the category, you need to tell them about the category, and then introduce your brand. Otherwise, people will not be able to understand. And second thing is, like, tell them all packed food need not have preservatives. Most of them, yes, they have, but there are technology which has come right now where packed food can be eaten and have food which doesn't have any preservative. So that's a education task which you are working on right now, like, introducing the category and then introducing the brand also together.
So how you plan to educate people?
See, one of the important thing is you use different social media platforms, like, try and tell them, like, why this is important, why it is convenient, why is it easy to cook. These are three other parameters in which you work. And then you do demonstration. There's actual demonstration required on this. You take the pack, you cut the pack, put the powder into a bowl, stir the powder, like, keep it for 7 to 8 minutes, and then open the pack and then eat it. So pure product demonstration acts as a confidence building among the consumers. You need to really show them. You have to get to that grassroots level of actually making the food, because at the back of the pack, it's very clearly written how you need to do. It's a very simple process. Open the pack, put boiling water, keep it for 7 to 8 minutes. But the moment you show that demonstration and when they actually taste it, they know, oh, this tastes like real pav bhaji. This tastes like real veg biryani. That's the sampling and tasting is a very important journey in this thing too, in order to build trust and confidence, and so that the consumer goes and buys the product not only once but repeatedly buys it.
So as I read a lot on freeze drying for technology, like what when before this podcast, so I saw that it is retains 95% of the nutrition. Is it true? And how that happens? I'm just amazed, like it has 95% nutrition and we can use it by just adding water. How that works?
See, in freeze drying technology, what happens is the product is first frozen and then it is freeze dried. And the whole process is not something which happens very fast, or like, 4 5 hours. So the moment you put the product in the tray and you set it at minus 40 degree, the whole process takes around 16 to 18 hours. It's a very slow process. And the machine is such an intelligent, that's why we say we are in the food tech industry. Like, the machine is so advanced. What it does, it identifies two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen itself. So the other things which are there doesn't get touched at all. So your color, flavor, nutrition, taste, everything is retained. It just removes the water and then you just add water. That's why for rehydration, you just add boiling water. Whatever is removed from the food is added back to it. See, it's a very simple for any food. In order, why does it get spoiled? Because of the bacterial infection. So how does the bacteria come? Is because of the water content in the food. So we just remove that water out of it. That's it. So there's no need to touch anything, and it doesn't require to remove any color and flavor out of it.
Wow, that's awesome. So I see, and with this, we know that when we are eating, there's two dimensions to it. Two important dimensions is taste and I will say health. Okay, these
Correct.
are two dimensions, and this is
Also,
and that adds, like with your product, I think it comes taste, health, and convenience. So I see that it is going to change the world the way it is eating right now.
now the idea of changing the world, what we want to do is we slowly want to introduce healthy food in the households. Today, what happens is, say, for example, if I don't feel like cooking, or you've been cooking for a longer period and the mom or the wife or the sister, whoever is cooking, gets tired. So what is the immediate option you have? You either do a 2 minute kind of a delivery app which gives you food, or you order from any of the restaurant which is there. So these are two options which are there. What we are trying to say is, like, why don't you make the food yourself, which is very convenient, is there, and it is also healthy, tasteful, and everything. So
Yeah.
you don't have to actually go outside, eat the same food which is taste different, because all the recipes which we have now, it's all in house. We make our own recipes, we cook our own thing. It's nothing outsourced. It's everything is done in house. So refraining them from getting to order from outside is what one of the important thing which we want to do. That is not possible, like you do every day, open my pack and eat, like, that's something which is asking for more. But today, if you're talking about health, if you're talking about nutrition, if you're talking about all those things which is there, week में at least एक बार तो खा लो, saying not on a daily basis, at least एक बार खा लो, then you get used to it and then use it frequently when you're going out, when you're traveling. Say fruits are used as snacks. Like, one of the biggest junk food which we eat for corporate people or people who are traveling is between lunchtime and the evening. Once the lunch is over, then there is tea time which comes. Tea time to evening is where the most junk food is eaten, because your lunch is over, lunch gets digested and all those things happen. And then when I'm trying to eat snack in the evening, that's always something like a vada pav. Let's go for a chai, and then there you eat some pani puri, sev puri. I'm not saying all that is bad. Like, I don't even want to get to that. Like, you all are educated people, you know what it is. But
Yeah.
all I'm saying, instead of that, keep a packet of freeze-dried fruits. Have a chiku, freeze-dried chiku. Have a mango. Have mango during October, November, December, where Alfonso mango is not available. We can provide you that. Freeze-dried gives that biggest advantage of having seasonal, non-seasonal food also during the time whenever you feel like having. It's just a small pack, 20-gram pack is what we're trying to introduce. Just open that and keep popping it up. Instead of eating any chips, you can eat a freeze-dried fruit, which is a healthy snack for you.
So yeah, that sounds crazy. Like you're talking about pav bhaji and you're talking about foods like chiku and mango. So what all includes in your like category? Like, can you like run us through
Yeah.
that?
We have 4 different verticals. One is meals verticals, Indian meals as of now, veg and pure veg. We also have Jain food. We have fruits, which is regular fruits, which we have. We have vegetables. Vegetable is more a B2B order. Like, vegetables are ordered by restaurants or hotels where they feel that the vegetable which needs to be stored for a longer period of time and it gets spoiled. So they order freeze dried vegetables. And the other category which we are getting into is gravies and chutneys. That's something which is very big because we don't cater to non-vegetarian food. Like, so what do we do for non-vegetarians? We do the freeze dry the gravy, give them the powder. The same flavor and taste is there. You just need to add boiling water and you put your meat whichever you want to do it in, and then cook it for some time. So there is a small amount of cooking is required there because you are adding the meat separately in that. That's why that's the second phase which we are planning to get into. Once the whole meals part is established, fruit is established, like we want to get into the chutneys and gravy. Chutneys has got a very huge demand. Like, there are a lot of people who are asking for freeze-dried chutneys. There is a separate market for mothers also. Mothers, we also help them freeze-dry the product and give it to them. These are mothers of students who are going abroad. Say, for example, my kid or my daughter or a son is going abroad. Like, for 6 months, what they do is they take the favorite food which the kid likes, which is prepared by the mother, and she sends it to me. I freeze dry it, pack it into different smaller size, and give it to the kid. The kid, anywhere outside India, abroad where they are sitting, they can just open the pack, add boiling water, and ghar jaisa swad. Mom ka home food is available to them. That's a very big market. The only thing is we try and give them an kind of an SOP on which it needs to be prepared, because there need to be some proportion of oil that needs to be less. You cannot use coconut. Coconut is a no-no in freeze drying. So those are some small things which we tell them, and moms are more than happy to take that, because end of the day, what happens is my child is eating ghar ka khana. That is the biggest satisfaction which the mom gets.
That's beautiful. I was just thinking कि घर का खाना has cooked by experts doing like घर का खाना, but actually cooked by mom, which is freeze dried. That's a beautiful concept I never heard of. So
Yes.
tell me, is this a technology a new one or is new to India? Is it acceptable globally already? How is it positioned?
Globally, it has been there for a very long time. India, it has started to pick up because people have started becoming conscious about their health. People have been eating left, right, and center, including me, I would say. Like, when I was working, when I was in the corporate world, like, you don't even care what time you're eating, what you're eating. You've been there in a long discussion meeting with the client. What lunch mein kya aa gaya? Pizza aa gaya. I'm not against pizza. I'm saying you can have pizza and all, but what that food habit which is there now, that has fairly changing now. People have started becoming conscious. People wanted to have healthy food. What I said is, like, in order to have healthy food, can it be convenient or not? Like, so that's an element which we introduced into. Healthy doesn't mean there's a lot of preparation required, lot of time required, lot of effort required. Convenient can also be healthy. Healthy can also be convenient. That's why we thought we will introduce this freeze dried product meals to all the people, where we say that whenever you feel like having something which is ghar ka khana, you can have. Or you want to have your own food, give it to us. We are more than happy to freeze dry and give it to you. You can have your same taste of your mother sitting anywhere in the country.
Okay. So you already spoke about how this works, but can you take us through in more detail how this manufacturing process, like how this freeze dry process works, like when you do that? So can you take us in more details on that?
Yeah. Say, for example, let's take a pav bhaji or a veg biryani. So the pav bhaji and veg biryani is cooked in regular format. It is a properly cooked food which is ready to eat, but you do it in a larger quantity. The whole ingredient, flavor, taste, and everything is like what you do. And then you take the pav bhaji, you first put it in the machine where it gets frozen. Once it gets frozen, over a period of time, the water content in the food is slowly removed over a period of time. And then it gets into a powder format. So the output is a powder. Say, if you take a 5 kg pav bhaji, you get 900 grams of powder. What does that mean? That does mean the other part is gone? No, it is not gone. 4.1 liter is a water in that product which has been removed.
Yeah.
You take the 900-gram powder and put 4-liter water, the whole pav bhaji will come back to its own shape. So there's no loss of food which happens. It's just the process in which the water is removed from the food.
That goes for all the foods, like even for fruits and
Fruits is
pav
even more
bhaji goes.
simpler. You just cut it into pieces, cubes, whatever mold. Or for mangoes and all, you make, what do you say, like, like an armrest kind of a thing and put it in the mold and just give it. Put it in the machine and it comes back freeze dried. Chiku is in original format, grapes, jackfruit, everything is in its original format. Apple is in its original format. There are some clients in B2B where they ask for certain shapes and size, so we cut it according to that. But there's no addition, anything added in that. We don't have anything, either colors, nor sugar. It's not required at all. You just put it in the tray, freeze dry it, and just send it across.
So that's lovely. So if we want to conclude all these things, and if you have to share three pros and three cons of freeze frozen food, what will be they?
One of the three important thing which it does, it solves a problem. It's not just something which is trendy. There is a problem of having convenient and healthy food and something which can be cooked fast. That's one thing which it does. Second thing what we do is, like, we try and see that there is a trust and repeat purchase which happens. Like, the consumer actually likes it, because we don't believe in like just going viral about it. Like, we want consumer to actually taste it, like it, and buy it again. Like, that is one. Third is, we want it to be available across all India. I want every household to have this freeze dried products, so that they understand, like, what is the importance of having Ghar ka food and convenient and healthy food. That is one. As far as cons is concerned, yes, one of the biggest thing as far as Indian consumer is concerned, price. Because the technology is slightly expensive, I'll still say it's not very, very highly pricey. If you go out into a restaurant and if you have a bowl, which is like, say, around 200, 220 grams of pav bhaji, say, for example, that'll cost you in a decent restaurant. I'm saying, I'm not talking about the roadside thela or
Yeah.
anything. It'll cost you around 300, 320, around 290. Our pav bhaji for 1.5 serving, I would say, which is slightly more than what it has been served in there, will cost you around 270 rupees. But still, from a consumer perspective, like, they want to know why is it so priced, or what is the technology it goes. The moment they taste the pav bhaji, they're ready to pay that price. That's what we said. So
Yeah.
in any food industry, one of the most important thing which I feel is the taste. You acquire the taste, you put honest ingredient into it without any preservative, everybody will pick it up.
Sure. Sure. So, Subbu, tell us the food habits in India and the food habits when we compare it with globally. So, how that changes, like how the entire equation changes when we compare to food habits in India and global food habits.
Globally, one of the most important thing which we should understand is, because of the climatic condition, there is a lot of consumption of meat which is happening, which is, I think, in order to keep themselves warm, or because of the habit which they have. That is one thing. India is not a very highly meat consuming country, I would say. Like, there are a lot of people who still eat non-vegetarian. So there is a
Yeah.
lot of thrust on vegetarian food. And today, a lot of people are turning into vegan, a lot of people are turning into vegetarian, a lot of people want to eat specialized, what do you say, superfoods, and all those things are coming. But if you talk about the normal consumer, I'm saying the regular consumer, like, I would say SEC, B plus, like, who's still traveling in a local train, and, like, these are people who cannot afford superfoods. Yeah. What they do is, every day there is, in the morning, the wife or the mother gets up in the morning, she prepares the meal for the person who's going to the office, and there is a dabba which is given, tiffin is given to the person. So what we are trying to say is, how can we try and address to this set of audience? Like, so this is a very large set of audience who would require something which is healthy. And these same set of audience, during the evening snacks, they try and have something which is more junk, and, like, more like a vada pav or something which they get across the street where they are working in the corporate office. So here the idea is, like, try and give them healthy food, because today there are a lot of these diseases which have come, like, so, India is known as one of the largest diabetes country, like, so why is it happened? Like, it's not because only you eating sugar, it is because your eating habits and your eating food is not so healthy. So people are getting aware now, people are knowing about it, they're acknowledging it, and they want to accept. So in that context, I think it's the right time where freeze dried products should be introduced. It has been there for a long period of time. It's not that we come for the first time, but a lot of freeze dried products which are there, who are doing it, they have all been doing for exports, large quantity of exports, or it's been focusing on B2B and been focusing on Horeca industry. which is also one important category which you should know. But B2C consumer, D2C consumer is something which needs to be addressed. Like, they need to be given something which is healthy. That's why what happened is, right from the time when we were doing a product formulation, parallelly there's an e-commerce platform also which we built. We built an e-commerce platform before and the product came later actually. That's how because also coming from a technology background, I thought it should be very, when you're saying it's a convenient, easy to cook, it should be convenient for them to buy also. They don't have to go and search ki kahan milega. Just go click the button, add it, and it'll come to your home.
So I believe we already experienced this food on flights, like when we have poha or upma online on the flights. So they are tasteful, they have good essence, and they are, I guess, the same technology food.
No, they are packed food, I would say, but they are not freeze dried. There are 4 technologies which are there. Let me tell you that. One is the retort thing, which is more like a paste format. There are large brands which are using the paste format, where it is a ready to cook, where you put it in the pan and there's some cooking which is required, and then food is ready to you. Then there is vacuum drying. Vacuum drying is what happens is the color of the food goes, and there is some loss in the nutrition and vitamins which is there. And there is a third one which is dehydration, which is quite popular, which is the poor cousin of freeze dried.
Okay.
It does the same thing what freeze drying it does, but doesn't remove the full water, because the technology is such around 40 to 60% of the water is only removed. Still, there is some amount of water which is left. As a result, what happens? The food gets spoiled very fast. And then what the freeze drying is coming.
Okay.
The one which you see in the airlines or probably in the airport and all, they fall among one of these 3 categories, I would say. Freeze dried products have still not gone into the airlines, unless there is some fruit which has been introduced. I think recently I saw one freeze dried fruit in one of the airlines, I think, which is more like a snack where you just open and start eating it. I haven't seen it in meals category.
Okay. Okay. So take us through the journey of freeze fusion foods as of now, like when it started, and what are the initial wins you already got, and where are you right now, and what are your future plans for near futures?
See, one of the most important thing, after spending so many years in corporate and managing FMCG client, I said I wanted to do something of my own. So, and we didn't know what to do, like any other entrepreneur, you're looking for something which is very unique and all. That's when I accidentally happened to taste freeze dried fruit. I tasted mango and it was awesome. So that's when we said it's almost a year and a half we've been there into the business right now. Uh, One important thing what I figured out is before actually launching, you need to first understand whether there is a market potential for that. So we did some market research, spoke to the consumers, tried and understood the universe of the market. What is the scalability? Can it go scalable? Went and shared the product with some retailers, wanted to have their point of view, went and gave it to distributors and stockists. They all tasted and they said, wow, it's bahut hi badhiya hai. It's very good, and you should come out with this. It was all positive feedback which was there. Then branding was there. I had to show them the logo, I have to show them the product. I can show you one of the product I have. So this is how the product looks like. So it's a jackfruit which is there. So we got into all the lab testing, all the nutritional content, how to cook. Everything is clearly mentioned in the pack actually. So this is the pack which is for the retail. So that's when we said okay, now we are ready, now we should launch, and we launched the product at that point of time. There's good traction which is happening. We also present in one of the online platform which is there. But my whole idea is getting into a lot of other quick delivery, quick service, quick commerce platform, drive organic traffic to my site. So that's what the biggest agenda is, where people can, because there's a lot of effort and time which has gone into build my own e-commerce platform. So that's where we are trying to do that. The business idea was try and give a solution to it, it's like a very personal solution, rather than saying ki try and build a brand which over a period of time do a valuation and then sell it off, which obviously is a process that is going to happen. If as a businessman, if I say I'm not interested in that, that will be not the right thing to say. But that's not the objective. The objective is to first build a brand, try and see whether it's been accepted, and try and see that you ensure that every household has that, and then obviously get into the business part of it as also.
Obviously. So right now, which all channels you are available? You said you are already live on your website and you are online on one of the marketplaces. Are you also available on offline or any B2B channels right now?
B2B, we are talking to hotels. One of the important thing which I forgot to tell is we got launched our product into the market by the US Embassy. what else is the best thing for a freeze dried product? Because freeze dried product, when it got launched early 60s in America, it was known as an astronaut food. It was designed for the astronauts because astronaut cannot actually make the food over there. There was a one first cosmonaut, which is a person who went from Russia. He took a paste of beef and liver paste, and then he sucked it from there and he used to eat. And from there, the transition happened and freeze dried came into picture. They used to take powder format my food, add boiling water, and just eat it over in the space. So it's an astronaut food, and US Embassy invited us, saying that they had the National Day event which was happening. So there they wanted a dhokla and they wanted freeze dried pista ice cream, which was not at all part of the list. We were like completely shocked. I said, "How is dhokla going to get freeze dried?" Yeah. I said, "We need some time." They said, "Like take 1 month. It's okay. We have a lot of time on it." We went and spoke to different vendors, got different types of dhoklas. We freeze dried it. One of them became like the dhokla which has come from ice age. It became like stone jesa. So there are a lot of funny experiences which happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Then finally we got the right formulation. We gave them the samples. They approved it. And we supplied freeze dried dhoklas and ice creams to them. So they were like so excited that they called us for the event. It was not part of the agenda. And they gave us a small space and said, like, please put your product over here, all free of cost, and let all the people come and experience. So we were actually preparing food there, and all the embassy guys from different embassies were part of it was a very high-end VVIP event which was there. So they all tasted it and they just loved it. The interesting part was about the ice cream. So we said, how is it going to get rehydrated? They said, we don't want to rehydrate. We wanted it in the original format only because there was a blueberry paste which was designed along with by the chef of Taj where the event was opening. And there they said, it will be served like that. So it was like a thermocol jesa, and the taste was like exactly same. But so it was very interesting to meet that time the US ambassador Eric Garcetti. And he said after so many years, the dream of having ice cream in a space station is going to be fulfilled by freeze fusion food, because in Apollo 1969 there was a small refrigerator which was kept, and there was one astronaut who had a craving for ice cream. For him it was kept over there, and later on they removed it, and after that till now there is no ice cream which is served in space. They said if this is something which can go into space, nothing like it. I think that was the biggest compliment.
That's lovely. So I can think of if you can freeze dry a dhokla, which is a very super delicate item,
Yes.
and ice cream, and you can again put it back to its original format. So you can do wonders with that. I guess any food can be freeze dried and can be taken like that. That's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah. So I will come back to the same questions. So which all channels you are available right now, and what is your plan to scale and distribute your products?
B2B is what we are there. We are available for all the corporates, ice cream manufacturers, cake manufacturers. They are one of our potential client. Horeca is a big client, hotels where they make pastries on a daily basis. That is one. Second is online platform. Online definitely one of the marketplaces where I am present. I'm also trying and pushing the e-commerce platform of ours.
So you're on which marketplace right now?
Amazon. Amazon is where
Amazon. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. We are registered in Zepto. We are registered in Blinkit also, but I'm going slow on that. Amazon is kind of giving us some good traction, which is there.
Right.
See, if you take data and if you see a typical FMCG, all the FMCG which has got to their first 100 crores, they got it through online platform. So that's a given thing. So that is something which I want to focus on. Parallelly, there is an offline plan also, because I have got in touch with the distributors, retailers, and wholesalers, stockists, and all. But that's a long tail thing that requires investment, that require deep pockets. So there is some talks which is happening with investors also. There are a couple of investors who are interested now. So once that comes, we'll get into offline also. Otherwise, online is the prime thrust and the focus area for us at that point of time. I think that's a very given thing considering the current scenario in which India is more from a digital and tech perspective.
That's lovely to know. We are working with a lot of food brands. We're working with Wow Momo. Okay. We are working with some Horeca industries. There's some client called Saksham. So we are building tech for them, and we are building for, again, Mad Over Donors. And there is another brand called Belgian Waffle. So we are building tech for all these brands. Again, if you have heard of Easy Diner, we had built the initial tech of Easy Diner. Entire tech was built by us. So we understand food tech and all. And being a tech company, I would also like to understand what all tech you are using right now. Because right now, if you wanted to scale, you have to be technically aware and technically be there.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what all technology you have like for manufacturing, inventory, sales platform? Are you using any technology or what you plan to do that?
Right now, like what you rightly said is like, coming from a digital tech background, like, tech is something which is there in
Yeah,
your thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the moment I launched e-commerce, like, we got a chat AI agent which is installed over there, like, and what we tried to do is like, we didn't want to have a chat agent which will say, okay, thank you for the question, we'll come back to you. We gave a very robust FAQ which is installed so that most of the questions which can be answered directly by the chat agent. That is one. Second is we getting into Waba, like, WhatsApp business account, like, so that's where that has been automated. Like, if someone clicks on it and like, it says, oh, welcome to Free Fusion Food, there's a catalog which has been served. And then post the question, what it is asking, like, I'm interested in meals. So there will be only meals catalog which will be served. If someone is asking, say, no, I'm in a B2B business, I'd like to have large orders of freeze dried fruit. So the only freeze dried fruit information will be given. So that's an intelligence which we have built right now. And as far as CRM and ERP technology is concerned, I think we're a little too early for that, but there are plans which are there. I've migrated my site to a platform which is already a CRM enabled platform, which is a recent migration last week which happened because that was required. Like,
Okay.
because I need to understand data. I need to, when you're saying when you're going to drive traffic to the your own website, there need to be some intelligence which needs to be there from a data analytics perspective. So I need to
Yeah.
understand the buying behavior. I need to understand what time are they coming, what are they buying, why are they buying, like, how long are they into the site. So that's something which has been just installed a week back. Like, there's a lot of test which has been happening on that side. So these are some of the technologies which are there. We would like to embrace AI also in the future, like, talked by a lot of people. Like, so I thought I'll refrain myself from talking, but yeah, you cannot ignore it. Like,
That was my next question about to come. Like everyone is into AI, and people says if you're not into AI, you are like. So
yeah,
I'm also scared about that. So we use AI a little in our technology for sure. So I also wanted to understand two things. If you are using any AI, what kind of AI you have already taken up? What is your relationship with AI? And what are AI initiative? Like what are things you think in the future, recent future, AI will take over for the food industry, especially?
see, automation is what AI is going to be like. So today, if you're talking about AI and if you're saying AI is going to come in general and like, is going to replace human, I don't think that's going to happen. Human has got emotions, human has got more intelligence, which is there. AI is going to just do what human is doing in a much more efficient manner. You need human touch for that, like, so there's a lot of this scare among the industry saying like, okay, my job is going to be taken by AI. No, your job is not going to be taken by AI. Your job is going to be taken by another person who understands AI better than you. That is what is the future. So he understands AI, he works on AI, and he manages AI in a much better manner than the way you do it. Yeah, then it will be taken by you. In our case, chat GP agent is something which we already introduced. I think that's in a smaller way, which AI has already come. In food technology, it's going to play a very big role, I would say. Say, for example, more from a manufacturing processes, I think AI will play a very big role to say whether the food has freeze dried at the right technology. What is the time, like, why is it not freeze dried? If some of the food is like, freeze dried more, so why it has happened? So that part of technology to the machinery is something which is what we are expecting to happen in our life.
Quality control and
More
all
like a quality
standardization.
control and giving complete intelligence, saying that, okay, this food you said technically requires around 14 to 16 hours. The AI will give a beep saying that it requires 14.75. So you can switch off or automatically it gets switched off so that the error rate is like 0.01%, I would say, right? Because otherwise, sometimes what happens is when you put food and all, there are different things which might happen, like, in terms saying the food might get over freeze dried or it might be less freeze dried. It not happened. The water content is still there. So you do trial and error over a period of time and then you know what is the right thing for them. So today, if you tell me for pav bhaji, veg biryani or for a mango or a banana, I know what is the control there. That is learned over a period of time. If there are new fruits, if there are new things coming and if there is a AI attached to the machinery, then what will happen is it will automatically say you don't have to worry about the part of it. That's where I think from a very freeze dried industry perspective, that's where the AI has to a very large role to play.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. So coming to AI, as you said that AI is not going to replace you. A person who knows AI will replace you. But we
100%.
also need to understand when this person is replacing, he is not replacing one person. He's going to replace a team of 4, 5 people. So that is a big gap which is going to happen, like which we already see in our industry. So yeah,
Yeah. This is more from a scenario of people who are there in the industry with around 10 to 15 years experience. If you take the current generation of people, everyone is at par. Everyone understand technology. Everyone knows AI. Everyone.
Yeah.
So I think over a period of time, this generation will retire, and the new generation which comes, they will all be AI equipped. So that's why I said it is going to be competition among two persons who understands AI much better than the other guy.
Yeah.
Where is the scare coming from right now? People who are fairly there in the industry for a longer period of time and who have adapted AI and who's learning AI right now. Like, I've spent like 15, 20 years in the industry. He's the guy who's going to be scared about AI. But that guy is going to be there in the industry for next 5 years. Yeah. After 5 years, what is he's going to be retired. Then there's a new generation which is already come, which is come with AI equipped technology. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
know from right from beginning, right from kid, when they are playing games, they are playing AI games. Yeah. So they will not have the fear of getting replaced. Today, there is also a new trend where I've been talking to a lot of these founders where they figured out that the Gen Z or the new generation which is there, they're not interested in working. They want to start their own, they want to do their own, right from initial stage when they're 20, 21. So that's a separate generation of thought people which is coming. In that era, may people who are going to do jobs, they will already be equipped with AI technology, I feel.
Yeah, true. I completely agree with that. Even I see like Gen Z is working in a different way. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult. And another thing is what we are seeing right now is similar to what we had seen 20 years back when computers were coming in. Okay. So when we visited a bank, we can see 30, like 40, 50 people are working here and who are with large books and all. They're making entries. And we used to thought that, think like, ki, once computer is in, they will all go home, right?
Yes.
So I
Yes.
don't know how many of them will be able to adapt to computer. And jab computer aayega, most of them will like lose their
Sit at
job.
home.
And that was the exact notion it was at that time also. But what we actually see is when computer came in, it changed the entire scenario.
Yes.
It
Yes.
bring in a lot of more work, more jobs, and it created a lot of like 80% of the job nowadays are those which were not there 20 years back.
Correct.
So I think something similar is going to happen with the AI also.
Yeah, it's like very, Vineet, if you see now, it's very difficult to predict today. At one point of time, they say the whole technology is changing over a decade. Now that decade has become 5 years. Now 5 years is
Yeah.
becoming like 3 years now. It's becoming
Yeah.
every 3 years, there's something new which is coming and people are getting adapted to it. So it's not that because of technology, something is going to get lost. Yeah, if you get kind of slave to that technology, obviously there are a lot of disadvantages which are attached to it, which is obviously there. But if you are able to use it intelligently and if you're able to switch off when you want to switch off, then I think it's going to be a good marriage between AI and human.
So, Subbu, tell me, what are your top 2 or 3 lessons for anyone wanting to create a new food brand in India? So, this is for any aspirant who wanted to create a business, or like a Gen Z, maybe, as you said, that all of them are trying to create their own only. So, if a Gen Z is trying to create their own business in food industry, food brand, so what will be your 2 to 3 lessons for them?
See, one of the most important thing I would say is start small but think scalable. That's one very important thing.
Wow.
Till
Yeah.
the time you're not able to scale yourself, and if you're like just restricting yourself to certain market, then it might be little difficult. So start small, like do experiments, fail, which we also did. But you need to have a plan which can be scalable. If the plan is not scalable, then it's not going to give you a business number. End of the day, if you're starting a business, it has to have numbers also. One.
Yeah.
Second is you should be obsessed with margins and operations also. Try and see that whatever you're doing, it gives you some positive returns. Don't just keep on spending and end of the day you figure out okay, I burned out everything and I don't have anything left right now. And the other important thing is look for a real solution. Don't look for something which will make you viral for a short period of time. Virality is important. I'm not saying it is not important. You need to get viral. You need to tell about your products. People should know about it. But there need to be a real solution that also has to be solved. If there is no real solution, then the product might not take off. I think these are
Right.
some couple
Yeah.
of basic things. If they are able to keep it in mind, I think definitely there could be a lot of innovations which can come here.
That's lovely, Subramaniam. So we are almost in the like end of the podcast. I will just ask few quick questions to like learn more about you as a personal self. So tell us, what is your favorite food? As you're from food industry, what is your favorite food?
I think you should be able to guess it. When I say my name is Subramaniam, curd rice and
Yeah.
pickle. Yeah. I love that. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but I have a soft corner for that. I can eat it at any point of time. Yeah.
So in Calcutta, we don't get to eat a lot of curd rice, but when I am in Bombay, my
Yes.
favorite go-to food is two things. One is curd rice and one is dal khichdi. So that is
Yeah,
something which is common in Bombay, available, and I love them. Yeah.
correct, correct, correct.
So what is your favorite restaurant in India or in Bombay? So what is your go-to place whenever you are there?
See, I like to go and eat dosa. I might come in like typical South Indian, but dosa is something which I like. But I want to experiment new food. If there is something which is there in the town, which is more like a Japanese food, or if there is something new which is come in Thai, I try and go and experiment, because for any person, if you're in the food, I think you should try and experiment different flavors and taste. While your favorite might be dosa, but like, experimenting is there across different category, I would say.
Sure. What is your favorite brand in food that inspires you the most? Any brand in food industry, like anything?
It's not in the food industry, but there is a global brand called Patagonia Provisions. It's something which I like because they kind of combine sustainability and storytelling and innovation in a much better manner. They are into outdoor clothing. I think even if
Okay.
you see the site and all, like, it looks very interesting. So I think that's one.
They're based out of?
They're based out of US.
Okay. Okay.
So what happens is they do outdoor. It might be very niche category as far as India is concerned right now, too early. Because one of the category which I have to focus is also mountaineering and trekking. So freeze dried product is a very good
Yeah.
substitute for them, because you don't get food on the top, like, so you can use them. But the numbers are very less. Today, if you go by numbers, na, across India, people who are into trekking and mountaineering is only 100,000 people. I think we
Yeah.
are yet to get over that, other compared to the other countries where there's a large population who do this on a regular basis.
That's it, Subramaniam. That's it from my end. I think it was lovely talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, thank you for sharing your journey and insights. Your journey you shared, I'm sure it will prove gold to anyone who is aspiring to create anything into food and D2C, and especially if someone is trying to create into frozen dried food. That's lovely. Thank you,
Thank you.
Subbu.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vineet.
To all our listeners, hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to follow the podcast, drop your feedback in form of a review, share it with your D2C communities and WhatsApp groups, or someone who's building or dreaming to build in D2C space. This is D2C Stories podcast, the future of D2C told through stories powered by experts. I am Vineet Agarwala, and I will see you in the next story. Thank you.